I woke up inside novel. I had been transmigrated into a male-oriented power fantasy book, inhabiting the body of the ultimate simp side character. A man who possessed wealth that could rival nations, yet willingly acted as a doormat for his icy female CEO fiancée, only to be used as a stepping stone and crushed by the protagonist in the end. Victoria Vance, the Ice Queen herself, looked at me, her gaze frigid. "Caleb Sterling, haven't you made enough of a scene?" I lay on the sofa, swirling the contents of the glass in my hand. It wasn't a wine glass, but a crystal tumbler. Inside was the Pappy Van Winkle 23-year-old bourbon I had just asked my assistant to dig out of the cellar. Then, right in front of her face, I took the 10-carat diamond engagement ring, a symbol of our family's union worth 8 figures, and tossed it casually. Clink! It landed with precision in the trash can in the corner of the living room. "Ms. Vance, the engagement is hereby void." The air went dead silent. Victoria Vance's face, usually devoid of expression, cracked for the first time. She probably thought she was hearing things. "Caleb, say that again." Her voice was wrapped in shards of ice, cold enough to freeze a man's blood. I couldn't be bothered to answer. I sat up from the sofa and stretched, my joints popping in a satisfying rhythm. Feels good. As a glorious corporate drone in my past life who had dropped dead from overwork at my desk, opening my eyes to find myself in possession of a trillion-dollar empire, yet originally cursed with a love-struck brain that forced me to be a massive sucker, was a wild ride. In the original book, this guy named Caleb Sterling threw money and resources at Victoria to win her favor, even lowering himself to be her chauffeur and delivering homemade lunches. The result? Victoria always gave him that "don't bother me" deadpan stare. But the moment the original protagonist showed up, a few words made her look at him differently. Eventually, the two of them teamed up to swallow the Sterling family business, leaving Caleb to a miserable end. I looked at Victoria, standing before me. She was indeed a top-tier beauty, tall, elegant, the standard ICCO archetype. Pity, she wasn't my type. And the thought of her being the woman who would climb over my corpse to get to the top killed any interest I might have had. I said, I raised the crystal tumbler and downed the warm, amber liquid in one go. Spicy at first, followed by mellow sweetness. "We are done. Finished. Broke up. Capisce?" "Are you insane?" Victoria's brows knitted tightly, looking at me like I was a lunatic making trouble for no reason. "Just because I didn't answer your calls today?" I laughed. So that was it. In the book, Caleb had called Victoria a dozen times today to ask her to dinner to celebrate their engagement anniversary. She hadn't picked up once. Eventually, Caleb had stormed into her company like a madman, only to be scolded by her in front of all her employees. That scene was practically a pillar of shame in the history of simps. No, I waved my hand. "Don't misunderstand. I'm not throwing a tantrum." I stood up and walked over to her. My 6'2" frame cast a shadow of oppression over her. I leaned down, bringing my lips close to her ear, and whispered in a voice only the two of us could hear. "I'm just bored of playing with you." Victoria's body instantly stiffened. She could feel my warm breath, laced with the faint scent of bourbon. It was completely different from the careful, fawning attitude of the past. It was an aura of aggression and amusement. "Caleb, do you know what you're saying?" She took a half step back, forcing herself to remain calm, but her trembling eyelashes betrayed her. "Of course I do." I straightened up and spread my hands. "Ms. Vance, you're beautiful, and you're capable, but you're too boring. Like a glass of tap water. It quenches thirst, but it has no flavor." I pointed to the tumbler in my hand. "And right now, I prefer the hard stuff. Strong, flavorful." Without waiting to see the colorful expression on her face, I walked straight toward the door. "Oh, right." I paused at the foyer as if I'd just remembered something, turning back to flash her a smile. "Tomorrow, I'll have my assistant, Arthur, handle the formal procedures for annulling the engagement. Also, I'll be withdrawing that $4 billion investment I put into your company. From now on, you stay in your lane, and I'll stay in mine." Victoria's face drained of all color in an instant. $4 billion. That was the investment she had begged Caleb for to fund her new project. Without that money, the project would collapse immediately, and Vance Corp's stock price would avalanche. "You wouldn't dare." Her voice turned shrill, losing its usual composure. I shrugged, made a suit-yourself gesture, and left the cage that had suffocated the original owner without looking back. "You only live once. If you can't please yourself, what's the difference between you and a salted fish?" "Oh wait, a salted fish can technically flip over. A simp cannot." Leaving the Vance mansion, I felt like even the air was cleaner. Boss, back to the main estate. My driver, old Henry, looked at me tremblingly through the rearview mirror. Clearly, he had heard the commotion. The old Caleb, Every time he got upset with Victoria, would drink himself into a stupor. No. I leaned back into the soft leather seat and closed my eyes. Go to the hearth. The hearth? Old Henry paused. The hearth. The city's most exclusive private dining club, bar none. They only served 3 tables a night, and reservations were backed up for 3 years. The old Caleb, accommodating Victoria's preference for Western fine dining, had never been there. Yes, right now. I ordered lazily. But boss, you need a reservation. I opened my eyes and glanced at him indifferently. Call Arthur. Tell him I want to eat. He knows what to do. Old Henry didn't dare ask more and immediately dialed the number. 30 minutes later, the car pulled up smoothly in front of a historic brownstone in the West Village. The owner of the hearth was waiting at the door personally, wearing a flattering smile. Mr. Sterling, it is an honor to have you. Please come in. The best private room has been saved for you. I nodded and followed him in. Is this the life of the super-rich? Unpretentious, yet boring. Walking through a dimly lit, atmospheric corridor, I was led into an elegant private room. Lobster thermidor, A5 Wagyu beef, truffle soup. Signature dishes from global cuisines were brought out like a flowing stream. I tasted the soup. Rich, golden, aromatic. Not bad. This is the life a human should live. Just as I was enjoying the meal, the door to the private room was gently pushed open. I thought it was a server and didn't look up. Leave it there. Excuse me. A voice rang out, crisp and gentle as a songbird. I looked up. Standing at the door was a girl in a simple, elegant white dress, hair cascading over her shoulders, eyes curved into crescents, and 2 shallow dimples appearing when she smiled. She held a plate of exquisite lemon tarts, decorated with meringue shaped like cute rabbits. I'm Lily Summers, the owner's daughter. She introduced herself, her voice soft and sweet. My dad said we had a VIP guest, so I just baked some pastries and wanted you to try them. I looked at her. Sunlight filtered through the window blinds, bathing her in a soft glow. Clean, pure, beautiful, like an angel untouched by the grime of the world. A rush of heat surged from my lower abdomen, a physical reaction that caught me off guard. Damn, I forgot the setting of this body. It gets excited just seeing a beauty. I clear my throat, suppressing the restlessness. Thanks. Put them here. Lily put down the lemon tarts, but didn't leave immediately. Her big eyes looked curiously at the empty crystal glass in front of me. Do you like bourbon too, sir? Yeah. I like making my own blends, I answered casually. Her eyes lit up. What a coincidence. I love it too. My dad collects a lot of good spirits. I like to sneak sips of his pappy. She stuck out her tongue, a playful gesture that made my heart skip a beat. Too cute. I suddenly felt the urge to tease her. I hooked the corner of my mouth. Little girls shouldn't be drinking hard stuff. Stick to apple juice. Lily's cheeks flushed red instantly, like a ripe peach. She stomped her foot, turning to run. Wait, I called out to her. She stopped, back turned to me, not daring to look back. I picked up a rabbit-shaped tart and popped into my mouth. Sweet, but not cloying, melting on the tongue with a fresh lemon zest. Good skills. I praise sincerely. I accept this plate of pastries. As a return gift, I'll treat you to my own private blend sometime. Lee Summers. I silently repeated the name. In the original book, this character didn't seem to exist. But it didn't matter. From now on, I call the shots in my life. The next day, I slept until I woke up naturally. Sunlight flooded the entire master bedroom through the massive floor-to-ceiling windows. I rolled over comfortably in the king-sized bed. No clocking in, no meetings, no looking at a boss's sour face. This feeling was simply too good. I picked up my phone. A news notification popped up. Vance Corp's stock plummets at opening. Suspected major liquidity crisis. I raised an eyebrow. Arthur was efficient. Just as I was thinking that, Arthur called. Boss, you're awake? The voice on the other end was respectful, but carried a trace of barely suppressed excitement. In, I replied lazily. Boss, Vance Corp is in chaos. Victoria Vance called you dozens of times. I intercepted them all. She tried to come and block your driveway, but I had security invite her to leave. Good job. I yawned. By the way, that restaurant, The Hearth. I liked it yesterday. The silence on the other end lasted 2 seconds before Arthur spoke in a tone of sudden enlightenment. Understand, boss. You mean you like the atmosphere and the style? I will handle it immediately. I guarantee your satisfaction. I was a bit confused. I just casually complimented it. What did he understand? Forget it. I didn't want to think. Having subordinates who are too capable is also a kind of trouble. Anything else? If not, I'm hanging up. Going to work out. Yes. Arthur added quickly. Boss, because you didn't reply to anyone's messages last night and didn't post on social media, Rumors are spreading that you're devastated over the breakup with Victoria Vance and have gone missing. So, I didn't care. So, our company's stock price skyrocketed. Arthur sounded like he was holding back laughter. Me? Question mark. Arthur cleared his throat and explained, the market believes that you've finally shaken off that femme fatale anchor and are ready to focus on business. Investors are enthusiastic. They've even started a trending topic online. What topic? Hashtag Caleb Sterling didn't wake up to her. Me? Arthur continued, everyone thinks the longer you sleep, the more you're delegating, which shows your trust in the management team, meaning the company will run better. Right now, the whole internet is wishing you a long life and daily naps. I rubbed my forehead. This generation of netizens really was something, but making money while lying in bed, plus receiving the internet's blessings, didn't seem too bad. Fine, got it. Let them have their fun. Hanging up, I walked into my private gym. 8-pack abs, V-line, perfect inverted triangle torso. I pinched my bicep in the mirror with satisfaction. This body had great stats. After working out and showering, just as I was about to cook myself a lavish lunch, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find an anxious-looking Victoria standing there. She had faint dark circles under her eyes, and her usually impeccable power suit was slightly wrinkled. She looked disheveled. Caleb, what exactly do you want? She asked straight out, her voice hoarse. Didn't I say? We broke up. I leaned against the doorframe, looking at her with leisure. Just because I didn't answer your call? Do you know what $4 billion means to Vance Corp? You are destroying me. Her emotions were spiraling out of control. I dug my finger in my ear. First, I withdrew the funds because our personal relationship ended. It's just business. Second, it's my money. I use it how I want. Third, the person destroying you is yourself, not me. I looked at her, my eyes devoid of warmth. Victoria, do you honestly think Caleb Sterling can't live without you? She was stunned by the question. Before, I was pathetic, revolving my world around you, which gave you delusions. I sneered. Now, I don't feel like being pathetic anymore. Move aside. You're blocking my way to the grocery store. Victoria was left speechless by my dismissal, her face alternating between green and white. She probably never imagined that the Caleb who used to obey her every whim would speak to her with such borderline, humiliating indifference. Finally, she gritted her teeth and squeezed out a few words. You will regret this. Oh, I closed the door expressionlessly. Regret? The one who's going to regret this is you. In a great mood, I drove my limited edition supercar to the supermarket and bought a trunk full of top-tier ingredients. Back home, just as I was preparing to showcase my culinary skills, the phone rang. Unknown number. I picked up casually. Who is this? Excuse me, is this Mr. Sterling? The voice on the other end was timid, yet very familiar. It was Lily. It's me. My voice softened unconsciously. My dad said you bought the hearth? Her voice was full of shock and confusion. I froze. Bought it? Arthur, is your reading comprehension a little too good? I told him I was satisfied, and he just went and bought the restaurant. Cough, is that so? I had to play along. Yeah, I think the food there is good. But that's my family's legacy. My dad, Lily's voice sounded like she was about to cry. My heart tightened. Crap, I acted too cool and made the angel cry. Don't cry. I quickly comforted her. I have no intention of stealing your family's restaurant. I just wanted to make it easier to eat there in the future without waiting in line. Really? She was skeptical. Really? Tell you what, where are you right now? I'll come find you. We can clear this up face to face. After getting the address, I immediately put down the spatula, grabbed my car keys, and rushed out. Half an hour later, I met red-eyed Lily at a coffee shop. She looked like a frightened little rabbit, utterly pitiful. Sorry, my assistant misunderstood. I sat opposite her and explained directly, the restaurant is still yours. I'll just be a shareholder to get a permanent skip-the-line privilege. Does that work? Lily blinked her big, watery eyes. Just so you don't have to wait in line. Yeah. I nodded as if it were obvious. Queuing is a waste of time. With that time, I'd rather sleep a bit more. Lily let out a puff and laughed. That smile, deep dimples showing, was like the sun clearing away the rain. You're a strange person, she murmured softly. Okay, no more crying? I handed her a tissue. She took it, cheeks flushing slightly. Thank you. And thank your assistant for me, too. No need to thank him. I'm docking his bonus later. I deadpanned some nonsense. With the misunderstanding cleared, the atmosphere lightened up. We talk about food. From the delicacy of French cuisine to the spice of Tex-Mex, from Southern comfort food to the freshness of sushi. I discovered that when it came to eating, we were practically soulmates. By the way, I promised to treat you to a drink. As we were leaving, I stopped her. I'm hosting a small tasting party at my place this weekend. All private blends made by me. Interested, Lily's eyes lit up instantly, like she'd fallen into a galaxy of stars. Amen. She nodded vigorously. Looking at her bright, smiling face, I felt my heart being gently bumped by something. Weekend at my private estate in the Hamptons. My so-called tasting party was actually just inviting a few rich buddies over to help me deplete the barrels of bourbon, rye, and whiskey I had aging. When Lily arrived, I was roasting a whole lamb on the spit. I had taken off my shirt, wearing only gym shorts, my body scented with sweat and charcoal smoke. In the sunlight, my 8-pack and V-line were clearly visible. C.A. Caleb. Lily's voice came from behind me, laced with uncertainty. I turned around to see her standing there dumbfounded, face flushed red, eyes staring straight at my. Ups. You made it. I grinned, wiping sweat with the back of my hand. Sit anywhere. Booze is over there. Help yourself. My partying friends saw Lily and started wolf whistling. Nice one, Cal. When did you meet this angel? Hello, future Mrs. Sterling. Lily's face turned even redder, looking like it might bleed. She walked nervously to my side and whispered, Let me help you. No need, just sit. I sliced off a piece of the freshly roasted, most tender loin and handed it to her. Try it. She ate in small bites, her eyes darting toward me every now and then. That look, wanted to look but afraid to look, was insanely cute. After a few rounds of drinks, the atmosphere heated up. A trust fund baby named Tubby Tanner, who was wasted, slurred at me. Cal, did you really dump Victoria the iceberg? Good riddance. That woman walks around like she owns the world. Who wants that? Our future Mrs. Sterling here is, hick, gentle and cute. Just as the words fell, a cold voice rang out from nearby. Is that so? I like to hear who doesn't want me. Everyone looked toward the voice. Victoria had appeared at the party, unnoticed. She was wearing a black business dress, makeup exquisite, radiating an intense aura that clashed violently with the lively vibe here. Behind her followed a tall, handsome man. I narrowed my eyes. Wasn't that the original book's male lead, Julian Blackwood? The guy who came back from Wall Street to help Victoria take me down? Why was he appearing ahead of schedule? The entire venue went dead silent instantly. Tubby Tanner sobered up halfway, his face turning pale with fright. Victoria's gaze swept across the crowd, finally landing on me. Seeing me shirtless, then looking at the blushing Lily beside me, a look of undisguised contempt flashed in her eyes. Caleb, I really overestimated you. Leaving me, and you just mixed with this trash, living this decadent, hedonistic life? Her voice wasn't loud, but every word was a dagger. Before I could speak, Lily stood up. Her small face was flushed red with anger, summoning up the courage to block me. You're not allowed to say that about him. Caleb, he's not the kind of person you say he is. Victoria let out a cold laugh, looking at Lily like she was looking at an ignorant clown. Little girl, you've been tricked by him. He's nothing but a trust fund baby who knows how to do nothing but spend money. You'd better stay away from him. He is not. Lily was so anxious her eyes turned red. He makes his own whiskey. He cooks amazing roast lamb. And her small hand subconsciously pointed toward my abs, then retracted as if electrified, her face burning like it was on fire. He has a great body too. Ha ha. My drinking buddies behind me couldn't hold it in anymore and erupted into earth-shattering laughter. I looked at Lily, blocking me like a little mother hen protecting her chick, feeling both warm and amused. I took her hand and pulled her behind me. Her hand was small and soft. My business doesn't require your input. I looked up at Victoria, my gaze calm. Then my line of sight moved past her to Julian Blackwood, standing behind her. And this is... Julian stepped forward, extending a hand with polite arrogance. Hello, I'm Julian Blackwood. Just returned from Wall Street. I've heard a lot about Mr. Sterling. I didn't shake his hand, just looked him up and down. Oh, back from Wall Street. I drawled. My apologies, I didn't recognize you. A flash of displeasure crossed Julian's face, but he maintained his composure. Mr. Sterling, I'm here representing my team, hoping to collaborate with Vance Corp. I heard you just withdrew capital from them. I wonder if... No, I cut him off directly. Caleb, Victoria raged. You are mixing personal grudges with business. Yeah, I admitted openly. I am mixing personal grudges with business. So what? I walked to Lily's side, picked up the bourbon she hadn't finished, downed it, and then, in front of everyone, planted a kiss on her flushed cheek. My people, my money. I give it to whoever I want, and I play how I want. I wrapped my arm around the petrified Lily and flashed a provocative smile at the green-faced Victoria and Julian. Got a problem? Choke on it. That party ended with Victoria and Julian storming off in a huff. After they left, Lily finally reacted, her small face turning red from her ears to her neck. You just, she stammered, pointing at her cheek. Oh, that, I pretended to be nonchalant. Slip. She stomped her foot in anger and swung her little fist to punch my chest. It was soft like a tickle. I'm ignoring you. She threw the words over her shoulder and turned to run. Watching her fleeing back, the smile on my lips couldn't be hidden. The following days were incredibly comfortable. Gym, cooking, distilling whiskey during the day. Evenings were for asking Lily out, sometimes to the opera, sometimes to an art gallery, sometimes just walking by the Hudson River. Our relationship heated up rapidly in these seemingly mundane daily routines. She secretly memorized my preferences and cooked my favorite dishes. I would sit quietly by her side while she painted, grinding pigments for her. She had a special nickname for me, Master Blender, because my whiskey was better than her dad's collection. And I called her Little Sweet Bun, because the pastries she made were as sweet as she was. This peace was soon broken. One day, Arthur found me with a grave expression. Boss, we have a problem. Julian has united several overseas capital firms and is launching a hostile takeover of Vance Corp's shares. Victoria is about to fold. I was brushing my golden retriever, Goldie, and didn't even look up. Oh, isn't that great? Let her go bankrupt. But boss, Arthur hesitated. Julian's target probably isn't just Vance Corp. He's coming for you. Vance Corp is just his stepping stone. He wants to swallow them and then challenge our position. I laughed. Does he deserve to? In the original book, Julian used this method. First feigning help to gain Victoria's trust, then swallowing her company whole, and finally moving on the Sterlings. Pity, the Sterling family now isn't the one from before. Boss, should we do something? Arthur asked for instructions. I thought for a moment. I happened to be watching a nature documentary about foraging, specifically about dangerous fungi. I've been really craving some wild mushroom risotto lately. The kind you have to be careful with, I said casually. Arthur's eyes lit up instantly. I saw him pull out a notebook and scribble furiously. Understand, boss. He had a look of profound realization. You mean we need to let them be poisoned, wipe them out in one go? We need to lure them in with something that looks tasty but is actually a death cap trap and make them realize the gap between them and us. Me? I just wanted some risotto. Is there something wrong with the brain circuitry of you overachieving subordinates? I didn't bother correcting Arthur on how he interpreted my mushroom theory. The next day, I took Lily and Goldie and flew to Aspen. Lily also had a pet, a beautiful ragdoll cat named Machi. Interestingly, the moment Goldie and Machi met, they clicked. Goldie, usually a haughty dog, turned into a total simp for Machi, waiting on her hand and foot, practically handing over all his kibble. Lily and I laughed watching these two sticky pets. Look, they move faster than us, I teased. Lily blushed and whispered a rebuttal. They do not. We stayed in Aspen for a week. By day, we held hands walking the trails, looking at the mountains. By night, I told her stories in the cabin courtyard about my past life as a regular guy. She listened with gusto, her eyes full of light when she looked at me. Caleb, she leaned on my shoulder, looking at the stars. I think you're nothing like what they say. What am I like then? Like an explorer? Hiding treasure, she said seriously. At first, I thought you were a bit bad, a bit lazy, but the more I know you, the more I see the shining points. My heart was iron smooth by her words. Just as I was enjoying this rare moment of warmth, my phone rang. It was Arthur. Boss. Total victory. His voice was as excited as if he'd won the lottery. We followed your death cap strategy. We used shell companies to leak fake info, lured Julian and those overseas funds to dump all their capital in. And then, we pulled a rug. A total trap. Now, Julian hasn't just failed to acquire Vance Corp, he's lost his shirt. Even the capital backers behind him are critically wounded. They're probably running around looking for the antidote right now. Oh, I responded faintly. Got it. Boss, just an O. Arthur seemed disappointed. What else? I looked at Lily, who had fallen asleep beside me, and lowered my voice. Good job. Raise for you when I get back. Don't call again. My girlfriend is sleeping. I hung up directly. Commercial empires, financial wars. Are they as important as the little sweet bun in my arms? Back in New York, the business world had exploded. The Wolf of Wall Street, Julian Blackwood, had fallen from heaven to hell in a single week. Not only did he fail to swallow the fat meat of Vance Corp, but he was also beaten by a mysterious force until he lost his armor and went bankrupt. And the instigator, Caleb Sterling, who the internet thought was shutting himself in due to heartbreak, was photographed by paparazzi feeding pigeons in Aspen with a pretty girl. In the photo, I was smiling brilliantly, Lily leaning against me. It was a picture of tranquil happiness. Hashtag Caleb wins by lying down. Hashtag greatest slacker in history. Hashtag does Caleb need more accessories? Various trending topics exploded online again. And while Vance Corp narrowly escaped disaster, they were badly shaken. Victoria Vance finally couldn't sit still. She found my estate. This time, she lost her past arrogance. Her face carried unconcealable exhaustion and confusion. You did it, didn't you? She looked at me, her voice dry. I was in the yard helping Lily water the newly bought orchids. I didn't even lift my eyelids. Did what? Defeated Julian. It was you, she almost shouted. I stopped what I was doing, finding it funny. Ms. Vance, are you mistaken? I've been traveling in Aspen these past few days. Where would I find the time to manage that mess? Impossible. She didn't believe it. No one else has the power but you. Oh, so now you think highly of me. I hooked my lips sarcastically. Didn't you say I was good for nothing? Victoria's face turned red instantly. She looked at the intimacy between me and Lily, saw the genuine, happy smile on Lily's face. That kind of smile was something she had never seen when I was with her, and something she herself had never possessed. An emotion called regret gripped her heart like vines, squeezing until she couldn't breathe. Caleb, she laid down all her pride, a trace of pleading in her voice. Can we go back to how it was? Before I could speak, Lily wasn't having it. She slammed the watering can down, hands on her hips, glaring at Victoria. Hey lady, get this straight. Caleb is my boyfriend now. Please stay away from him. She rarely spoke so loudly. Puffing up with anger, she looked like a kitten with its fur standing up. I absolutely loved watching her get jealous for me. I walked over, hugged her from behind, and chuckled in her ear. Don't be mad. Getting angry over irrelevant people isn't worth it. Then I looked at Victoria, my eyes turning completely cold. Ms. Vance, please leave. My wife doesn't like seeing you. My wife. These two words were like heavy hammers smashing into Victoria's heart. She stumbled back a step, her face pale as paper. I didn't care how Victoria left in her days. I only knew that the little sweet bun in my arms had turned red to the roots of her ears because of my wife comment. Oh, who is your wife? I haven't agreed to marry you yet. She struggled in my arms, her voice as small as a mosquito's buzz. Just a matter of time. I tightened my arms and planted a kiss on the top of her head. You can't run away. Our life returned to peaceful sweetness. Until one day, an unexpected person showed up. It was Julian. He looked even more wretched than Victoria.